Hey guys, it's Shatterguard here, and in light of all of the, I don't know, hype and my personal enjoyment of the PlayStation Vita, I've decided to make a top 10 best original PSP games. Now, these are just the top 10 PSP games that I've played, so I'm not a very big fan of racers or RPGs, so you won't see any of those in this. But yeah. Sorry about that, but these are just the games that I've played and that I think are exceptional for the PSP. As you guys should know, if you've ever owned a PSP, there are a ton of terrible games, but there are a few good games. So let's start at number 10 in my list is Coded Arms Contagion. Now, this is a first person shooter. It is a sequel to the original Coded Arms, and the premise of this is basically you're this guy in a virtual reality military training program that's got a virus in it or a contagion, and it is your job to stop it. And you're basically running around shooting a bunch of guys corridor to corridor. It's got a couple like dungeon elements. Well, not really dungeon elements, but it's got a level upgrade system. Now, I do not like this one as much as I like the first one because the enemies in this are not very, there's not a lot of variety. In the first one, you'd have um, creatures that resembled antlions. You had swarms of these like wasps. There were guys with shields, guys with shotguns, flying things, bunch of different enemies, and there are not hardly anywhere near as many enemies in this. So that's why I don't like this that much. And the guns were not as cool either as they were in the other one. This one attempted to make a better story because there really is no story to the first one, and this one failed as far as story goes. The story is terrible. Don't even worry about the story. Not that this is a terrible game. This is fun and entertaining, just not as much as the first one. The ninth game on my top 10 list is Lego Indiana Jones, the original adventures. Now, I am a huge fan, well, not a huge fan, but I am a fan of Lego games. The newer ones, not the old ones. Lego Star Wars, the first one is still my favorite, but this is a very nice PSP game. It's got the first three episodes, it's got a couple mini games, a lot of characters, create a character, all that stuff. I actually have 100% everything completed in this. And it's pretty cool because if you get like such and such canisters or something like that, you actually are able to unlock Han Solo. So that's kind of cool. And it's got a bunch of different like mini games and modes and stuff. It's typical what you'd expect out of a Lego game, and it's very entertaining. Next, in number 8, we have Killzone Liberation. Now, this is completely different from the Killzone on the PS3. This is a third-person. I don't know why the camera's set up. It's a third-person shooter, and it's nowhere near as good as the console version, but it's entertaining. There's a lot of upgrades. It does have an online mode, though I've never played it. It's got a lot of different guns. And this was actually my first Killzone game. I got this before I got Killzone 2. So it's a nice addition, and it's rated T. So if you can't play the M Killzone, because Killzone does have a lot of language in it, this is a nice way, I guess, to get you into the series, I guess. And it's got a pretty good story to it, also. Number 7 is Midway Arcade Treasures Extended Play. Now, if you've ever played the Midway Arcade Treasures on the PS2, it has 20 classic games, and this is basically a combination of the first and the second. It's got a ton of games. It's got Mortal Kombat 1 through 3, 720, Paperboy, which is hilarious, Sinistar, Spy Hunter, Defender, Clax, Joust, Marble Madness, a ton of games. And it's just like that arcade collection that You never really beat any of the games, but they do keep you interested for a period of time. So, if you ever see this for like $10, pick it up. It's worth it. Number 6 is Twisted Metal Head On. Now, I'm not a giant Twisted Metal fan. Never have been. But this is actually really good. It takes the car combat and basically the gameplay style of Black and then tones it down a little bit and gets you some really cool combat. It's a very, very fun car combat game. I was really surprised by it. I've beaten the game with every character, although I say the final boss is a little bit cheap, I have to admit. But it's really cool, and it's worth it. Next, we have Medal of Honor Heroes at number 5. Now, I would say this game is good, even though it doesn't really have a very good story. But I like this game for the multiplayer. Now, I don't know if there's anybody playing multiplayer infrastructure on this right now, but when I got this a couple years ago, there were a lot of people playing 32-player multiplayer, and it was so much fun. I literally put hours into this game. The maps were very well done. The weapons were the perfect, I don't know, just like style. They weren't overpowerful or underpowerful. Although there were a couple hackers, but it's what you're gonna find on a PSP game. It's kind of something you're gonna have to live with. Coming in at number 4 is Warriors Orochi. Once again, I've never been a big fan of the Warriors, like the Dynasty or Samurai Warriors saga. I got this as a present, and it is a ton of fun. It's a hack and slash, and it's got light strategy elements, but it's basically kill the enemy leader before they kill your enemy leader, and it's a ton of fun. You can level up you can fuse weapons, and I actually did a little hack on it, so I have all the characters, everything maxed out, and it's got a lot of replay value, and it's a ton of fun. It's got a 2-player AD Hoc mode, so that'd be something neat to check out if you have a friend who has a PSP. I think it's only like $8 or something. It's well worth it. Number 3 is Coded Arms, the original. This is the best first-person shooter on the PSP, bar none. Granted, there are not a lot of first-person shooters on the PSP, but this is a very entertaining game. This has got all the variety. I don't know if you can see in the back, but there are a lot of different bosses. There's actually 3 bosses, but you beat the game, and you can restart it, and the bosses will, you'll get like a different area to fight the boss in, the game basically resets the map, so you never play the same level twice. There's a plethora of weapons and enemies. The bosses are challenging, and they do take a little bit of strategy to bring down. It's only like $6. I mean, this is well worth it. It is Wi-Fi compatible for up to 4 players through AD Hoc, although I've never played that. Number 2 is Mortal Kombat Unchained. I am not a gigantic fighting game fan, however I am a fan of Mortal Kombat, although not crazy. This is a port of Mortal Kombat Deception, which I do have, and which is really good for the PS2. This, however, basically adds a bunch more stuff. First of all, you start out with all the characters unlocked already. So you don't have to go through in the world finding chests to unlock those characters with. In addition, you get 6 additional characters. You get Shao Kahn, Jax, Kitana, Frost, Blaze, and Goro. And while Frost, Blaze, and Kitana are really not very good, and Jax isn't that good either, Shao Kahn is a boss. Goro is pretty awesome. You get you get like a new crypt items. It's got puzzle combat, which is basically Tetris. It's got a chess mode, which is a ton of fun. And, it is a very good Mortal Kombat port. And now, here we are at number 1. My favorite PSP game ever made. Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron. And a lot of people don't like this. And I don't know why, because it's a really good Battlefront, I love Battlefront. I have Battlefront on the PS2. I have every Battlefront that ever came out, even the ports, like to PS2 for Battlefront 2, although that was terrible. But this basically takes Renegade Squadron and, tones it up a notch. In this one, you can start from land, or like from the planet, you can fly into space from the planet's surface and fight in space. It's got the same, take your captor's ship and disable it, destroy it, stuff like that. But it is a ton of fun, and it is worth every single penny. I paid $20 for this new. It's got infrastructure for up to 16 players. It's got, upgrades. It's got actually a created class system, which is nice. And it is really, really entertaining. And a very, very fun game. There are a couple hacks where you can actually get a lightsaber and some force powers, which are fun to play around with, although now online everybody has those. It's got AD Hawk for 1 to 6 players. It's got a lot of customization, vehicles, turrets, rocket launchers, lightsabers. It's a very good game. I cannot recommend this game enough. I really, 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 really hope that LucasArts will do like an HD collection of Battlefront 2, and Elite Squadron, because they are so much fun. I really hope that comes out because they are the best. These are the games that got me into first-person shooters right here. And, without them, I don't know if I'd even be playing video games. So that's it. That's my top 10 best PSP games. If you guys have another top 10 or have a game that you think was better, post it in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And, I'll probably have a PS2 top 10 coming out soon because PS2 is awesome. So yeah, rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for all the support. I know I have not gotten a lot of Nerf videos out, but there, like I said before, in my last video, there's not been a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna try and get some more Nerf guns soon, and maybe do some updates, maybe a mod guide. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and ChatterGuard60. I'm out.